It is 2011. The UK government has been having issues with the National Programme for IT project for 9 years and has recently decided to shut it down completely. The government is now looking for explanations for the project's failure. To do so, the UK government has decided to hire a consulting company specialized in healthcare. HTAP Consulting is here to present their in-depth case study analysis.
First of all, could you briefly describe the project to us?
The project aimed to implement a healthcare digitalization and integration of electronic patient systems under the NHS. The initial budget was £6.4 billion. However, today, almost 10 years later, you have spent £11.4 billion after only a partial system delivery.
But how did you approach your research on the project?
We initially created a plan based on what the NHS outlined prior to the startup of the project. However, as you are aware, many of these deadlines and deliverables were not met due to numerous reasons. To analyze this case study, we chose to deep dive into stakeholder management, where we specifically talk about how the government and suppliers and subcontractors failed in the implementation of the project. We then describe risks associated with the project management to then reflect the hotspots and beauty spots of the project.
So, which issues do you think influenced the project's failure the most?
We identified three main hotspots that cover most crucial issues. Firstly, a lack of expertise within the project's creators and their additional political reasons to approve an overambitious timeline. Secondly, a lack of clear and stable leadership that created a working environment with little accountability. And finally, a lack of background checks of suppliers, which is what HTAP has expanded upon in its business case.
So tell me, what do you think is the main contributor to the project's failure, and how do you propose to tackle it?
In this business case, we will provide a solution for NHS and their project by addressing the failure in supplier management. We believe that the supplier mismanagement was key to the budget overrun and delayed timeline.
Who are the main stakeholders implicated in this proposed project?
So we would like to outline the key stakeholders to be the suppliers and the subcontractors, the NHS, the government, and us, HTAP Consulting.
What business options do you look at to tackle this issue?
There are three ways we could go about better handling supplier management. Firstly, screening and subcontracting of software companies directly carried out at NHS level, not by suppliers. Secondly, we could leave the subcontracting of software companies to suppliers, but still screen them ourselves. And finally, we could stay away from outsourcing and have the NHS develop their own software in-house.
Which option do you suggest going for, and what benefits will it bring to future NHS projects similar to the National Programme for IT?
So we would recommend the screening and subcontracting of software companies to be directly done by upper NHS management. Control over the selection of suppliers would shift towards the government and HTAP, and the background checks done by HTAP will provide suppliers with higher reliability and transparency.
Equally important, what benefits do you believe are relevant to this option?
NHS management and suppliers may perceive this to be a time-wasting activity. Also, software companies might think their product's quality is being undermined when an external consultancy has to check their viability.